Eddie, do you want to do introductions or would you want me to do those? Okay. Yeah, I'll try to. If you guys can just keep us rolling on the topics and things, because it gets tough to do the production, try to keep up with what tab we're on, and talk about it and introduce them. So if you guys are ready to just move on to the next one, just don't be afraid to just push it through. All right, well, I will let us start going live. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the OSC News and Highlights Talk Show Review. This is episode 16. I'm here with Eddie, of course, as always, whose name is wrong on the overlay. And certainly not Creighton Olsen, but that is Darking as well with us. Let me fix that production momentarily if you guys would like to say hello.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
Hey, everybody. Bit disappointed, mate. I was expecting a full Joker costume today. I tuned into your stream the other week.
You know, I thought about it, but it's well, that takes about 2 hours to get all set and ready to go. And I decided to take a nap instead. I can give you a little bit of Joker, but just a taste here and there.
Who is the best Joker? There's been a few good performances.
Well, I like to take my cues from just the Mark Hamill animated series Joker.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one I always go for. So, how's everybody doing? How have you been handling the last few weeks? Few months even. It's been since before quarantine since we had one of these episodes, so.
The world has changed.
It has quite a bit. Quite a bit. And there's been a ton of Starcraft. It's been one of the more positive changes over the last couple months, as it feels like the amount of Starcraft, it's gotten to the point where I listen all day at work to Starcraft. 8 hours, you know, that's 40 hours a week. Full-time job, I basically listen to Starcraft. I don't cover half of it. There's still so much that I miss.
One of the good things about StarCraft, you don't need to go outside to enjoy it.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. And you don't even need to go outside to play it or to commentate or to watch it. Really, any of that.
In fact, doing so would make it harder. So.
That's true. They had a tournament in, I think it was Toronto one time, where they did it outside. It was an outdoor venue. And it started raining. And that was a bit of an issue for some of the electronics and anybody watching. So probably better we stay away from that for now.
Probably StarCraft can't afford the retractable roofs and stuff when the rain comes yet, so not quite in the budget.
We got to get that stadium budget.
2021.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. So our first thing today that we should discuss a little bit is we're going to have that raffle going the entire time. So there are 10 different drawings throughout the entire stream. So keep an eye out, especially if you're one of those people. Stick around.
Yeah, so we have 24 entrants. This is the sort of participation raffle that we did from 2019 to 2020. We're doing it now because we had to wait for our Hearthstone season to wrap up so those guys could get their full quantity of tickets, because there's a bonus for how many tournaments you play. You get extra tickets. How many tournaments you win, you get extra tickets. But you can still just buy in. Some people have bought in for just the standard ticket, so they're well in the mix as well. Fingers crossed for all.
Yeah, good. I mean, 10 drawings. There's a good chance that a lot of people get in there. So there's
15
24
prizes.
different entrants. So, yeah. A lot of possibilities. Now, we could actually start off with one of those.
That's good.
I hear our sounds a little bit low. Bit of feedback from one of the viewers. Can we be turned up a bit?
Yeah, let's see if we can turn everybody up here. We might have a moment of technical difficulties while we do that.
That was from Bly, who's tuning in probably to see if he'll win some prizes. He has 14 tickets in today's draw, so good odds. There is only 172 tickets. The person with the most is B with 16. There's a few guys on 14, 12, a bunch sort of around 8 or 7, and then you've got a few on 5, 4, and a lot of people with just the one ticket.
Yeah, so I'll just show the list. Here you go, guys. So if you're on that list, hopefully this sounds a little better now. Keep us up to date, Bly. So we'll just go ahead and give it a start here. Copy all of our names. Full transparency here. I don't want anybody to think there's any funny business.
Did you just sneak in 20 Chickenmans?
Just ignore those. Just ignore those ones. All right. Oh, look at that. Number 1 is Bly.
So we're taking the 4 players there for 25% off an order at the OSC shop.
There you go. So this is for the first of many prizes. Going to be 11th through 15th. So as you said, 25% off one order. Bly,
So who are the top 4?
Bly, Vanya, Subus, and Cuban Pros. Pro SS?
Cuban Pro SS, I think.
There you go.
So two Starcraft players, 2 Hearthstone players. How about that?
There you go. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
Congrats.
All those guys had multiple tickets, so they'll only lose 1 from their total. So still in the running for bigger prizes.
There you go. So we'll get back to more of those drawings in a little bit here. Did you take those names off the list already?
I can remove them now, and you can just copy it each time if you like.
There you go. That's a good plan. And we can move on to our first big news of the day. And we're starting off with a big one. Maybe not a surprise for a lot of people, but certainly something really important for the Starcraft community, the Hearthstone community alike, is the cancellation of BlizzCon 2020. And
I mean,
that's,
real shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is unfortunately, but we all saw it coming. I think everything this year is going to be canceled basically. If it can be done online, it's gonna be online, but in a live event, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that seems to be the way. And I mean, that's the right decision at this point, right? Cancel things as early as we possibly can, so nobody's bought tickets, nobody's bought flights or anything, and we can start planning around things that have been canceled. So hopefully we get some information on virtual content for BlizzCon. I don't think they've released anything about that just yet. But,
I will be surprised if there's actually anything. I would just expect them to save it to 2021.
Oh, really?
Yes. I mean, because let's be real, last BlizzCon was kind of meh. Like, there was not much excitement, at least on our part, I think. So if they can save it and have like a big show for next year with a bunch of crazy announcements, sure, go for it.
Yeah.
Instead of dripping it off during the next few months.
Well,
I
now's
actually
the
hope-
perfect time to announce like a mobile game, right? If they wanted to do that.
Didn't they do that last year? I was just going to say that I hope they actually do some sort of, even an online event or celebration or something, with just maybe some personalities and players or whatever, because you'll be able to social distance a small group of people. But because it's the 10th year of StarCraft 2, yeah, it's the anniversary. So if they could do something reasonably big or just to promote the game even, that would be good rather than skipping the year and skipping the milestone.
Yeah, it would be very cool if they could put some of that, of course, a lot of money was planned to go into BlizzCon, I'm sure, put some of that into the various scenes, the various games, and see if they can get something together. For the 20th anniversary of StarCraft, they had a big get together of personalities and had kind of a tournament going on. It's obviously social distancing is a big thing, but as we get further away from needing very strict lockdowns, maybe we could look into something like that, getting just 5 or 6 people together and having them in a room still broadcasting to the world, so there's no audience or anything. I think that would be very interesting. It would be a really cool thing to do. I'd love to see some sort of 10-year StarCraft 2 celebration.
And it's quite cheap to do as well.
Yeah.
It's not going to break any budgets.
Compared to BlizzCon, just about anything's going to be cheap, right?
For sure. Also, they first year of it's had its ups and downs, but Warcraft Reforged, right? So they probably were hoping to do something big for that.
Yes, but also I think maybe it might be good for them to have another year before they have to really address a lot of that, because there's still many an issue that hasn't been sorted with that game at the moment. And I think if they did try to do something at BlizzCon, it might end up not looking great for them. So I think a lot of people might prefer they put those resources just into fixing the game.
2021.
Warcraft 3 will come back.
This is a good game.
Oh, it's a great
game. I bought the new remastered, and I had a lot of fun, even with just the campaign. It's a classic story. Just got to work out those
That's what
bugs,
I've heard
mate.
a lot, is a lot of people say, you know what, though? It was really fun just getting to play the campaign again. Obviously something you probably haven't played in a couple decades, maybe. And yeah, I mean, I think that's a great start. I just would love to see more put into that game, because it's such a great game that I want to see more of it,
Well, speaking about great games, how about GSL finals coming up?
Oh man, activity finals. When was the last time we had one?
Spoilers up ahead. Yeah, it hasn't been that long, right? Because it was season 4. Okay, it's been a while. Season 4, 2018. Yeah, that was Mara versus TY. So it's been a little bit, but this was really Terran heavy. I'm very excited. I think.
Are you implying something about the state of the game, or just?
I'm just saying there's a trending hashtag about what kind of patch it is out there, and I haven't seen Zerg or Protoss listed, so. But I'm really excited. TY is one of my all-time favorite players, and Cure has been so hyped this year. It feels like this is Cure's year to start looking really, really good and break away from the mold.
Yeah, well, Cure is the reigning OSC champion, winning the championship in January, and he's just kept that form going, fair to say.
Hey, it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, you cannot top that. Maybe a GSL championship only.
Maybe. If he gets second place, though, he's still going to keep the OSC trophy at the top, right?
Hall of Fame. It's also interesting looking at that bracket. You got guys like we mentioned Cure, but also Parting and Innovation. They play a lot of online tournaments now, whereas in the past, even just like a year or two back, some of the guys weren't as active online. So I don't know if that's a changing of styles or changing of situation with more online tournaments. But yeah, you look at Parting, he's playing in a lot of tournaments. things like the Sure Should I Open and all these sort of NA Korean timed events, and then he's backing it up like with GSL the next day, and same with Innovation, Kung Fu Cups, and a lot of like Warty TV events. All the top Koreans are getting involved in those.
Yeah, I think there has been kind of a resurgence of that from the top Koreans, like you say. On that note, Cure he's kind of known as an online tournament warrior, right? He'll come in those online cups and just smash everybody. He and like Solar kind of known for the same thing. But and it poses an interesting question because GSL doesn't have an audience this season, right? So is that something that Cure felt more comfortable in? And then all of a sudden he's able to play his absolute best and shows that he really is worth being considered one of the best Terrans in the world.
I could not say really that is a factor. I mean, they play with an audience, but they're still playing live from the studio. And plus, Cure and TY, they have like years of experience behind them. I don't think something like an audience will change the way they play.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. There's something, I think just being on stage, even if there's no people watching you, just being on that stage in the booths, I can't even fathom the pressure that could put on you.
What do you guys
And
think about it being broadcast on YouTube? Have you tuned in for that?
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's a big change. It could be a worse change for us people in the West, but I personally haven't seen any of the streams live because of the time. They usually start pretty late here, like middle of the night. Like this, I was checking the time for the finals, and it's at 3 a.m. my time. So yeah, I'm gonna watch the bot in the morning. But does it impact the numbers? Probably, because let's be honest, here in the Western world, nothing is more popular than Twitch for watching esports. But my guess is they if they did it for a reason, and I'm hoping that that reason work out for them, so that in the future we can get more and better Starcraft.
Yeah, at the same time though, YouTube is huge, isn't it? Like it's got maybe a wider reach than Twitch. It's just a massive platform. I've tuned in because it's on at quite reasonable hours my time, and it seems to be getting quite decent numbers. I'm not sure of the exact difference between Twitch and YouTube, but quite healthy numbers from what I would estimate.
Yeah, I don't focus super hard on the numbers. I listen while I'm at work a lot, so it's usually on in my pocket. But I have heard that the numbers have been pretty comparable. Again, I'm not sure exactly. I would guess though that the VOD gets way more views now than it ever did on Twitch. I know that I actually, because YouTube, you can just rewind the live broadcast. I do that all the time. Oh, I missed the first hour of GSL. Doesn't matter. Who cares? I'll just rewind and then I can watch it as if it's live for me. I don't have to touch anything. And I love that feature about YouTube. That has been the biggest unexpected change for me, is that if I start the GSL an hour late, it just doesn't matter. I can just rewind. And the VOD is available just immediately for me. So that has been a big bonus. Other than that, I
Pretty
mean,
awesome.
chat being different kind of sucks. I won't lie, I did enjoy spamming copy pastas in GSL Twitch chat. It was a great pastime. But yeah, I don't know about the numbers. I'd be interested to see specifics, and I'm sure at some point somebody who's really good with those will give us a spreadsheet.
Mm. Actually, just while we're talking about YouTube, did you guys tune in for the SpaceX rocket launch? That was on YouTube. I watched that.
I didn't.
I watched part of it. I didn't get to watch the actual launch though, unfortunately. But I was watching a lot of the setup. Yeah, I thought that was cool that they were streaming that.
Yeah, and that was on YouTube. Well, maybe moving on from GSL. Oh, what about a
Sure.
prediction, Cure or TY?
I gotta go TY 4-2.
I don't know. I think you can take it. I mean, he's the OSC champion. How can you say anything else?
Yeah, I'll do the tiebreaker and I'll go for Cure as well.
Yeah,
I
There you
think
go.
I
particularly
think
TVT is very strong.
I think it's going to be very close, like probably a 4-3, but I think Cure can make it in the end.
Now, how many cheeses versus how many macro games do you guys think it's gonna be?
Ooh, I will say out of the 7, at least 2. At least 2 has to be a proxy rack somewhere.
Who does macro games anymore?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Some of those crazy Terrans like to build their buildings in their base.
I love Dante comments in the stream. Kiro has my heart, TY has my mind. Totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I think
And
TY might have
thanks for the
everybody's
sub too,
mind.
Daunted.
21 months. Nice. All right, well, we've done our predictions. We can move on to our next topic here. We have some
Just another small event.
just another little one. Nothing too big here. Just the TSL, the TSL 5. An event that we've been waiting for nearly a decade at this point.
It's been a long time.
A long time. I absolutely love this event. I thought they did it was such fun production with their silly songs and the little animations. The fact that they were able to get Day 9 to come on and do a cast was great, and obviously Zombie Grub, Wardy, Roddy, always fantastic. And the games, there were so many excellent games, surprises, upsets. It was a really fun tournament.
Still going too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When does the
Yeah, I
guess it's got to be this weekend it finishes up, huh?
Yes. June 7 is the finals.
It's made up for lost time. It's been a really good event. So many upsets, like you say. It's been great to see Euthermal have a really good run.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, it was so hype when he 3-0'd Zest. Man, I was borderline cheering because I had to be quiet because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was very quiet cheering.
Now they get a rematch.
They do.
He played fairly well against Trap 2, I believe. I didn't see all the series, but looking at the score, it was a 3-2. Tried a few aggressive builds, I think. So he's got some variety to his TVP.
Yeah, Euthermal, he really thinks about the game a lot. I feel like he's almost the TY of Europe in that way. Is it feels like he thinks outside the box. A lot of his builds are a little bit unusual sometimes. I'll be watching him and be like, what is he doing? This can't be good. And then he makes it look great. And I love that kind of style of play where you really put a lot of thought into something. You practice a specific build that's going to catch your opponent with their pants down in a way they're not expecting.
It's one of the great things about Starcraft. You can prepare, your own style, your own builds. But speaking of Euthermal, he also does a little bit of stuff on YouTube now. He's got his own channel. I tuned in, and like you say, he was doing had a video there about Ghost Banshee and some against Mana. That was a good one. And also Euthermal is just announced that he's doing his Thermi Cup. That's back again. I think with an increased prize pool, so he's really supporting the Netherlands and the local players around that area. So yeah, man can do it all.
That's awesome. Yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of YouTube content lately, hasn't there? I know Hearthstone's had a channel for a very long time, but I've seen a few different players starting to upload a lot more to YouTube, and that's something that's been discussed for a while. Is this idea of, can these top players just, would it be feasible to put out guides on YouTube? And I think for a long time, just really wasn't desired. And now we're seeing a lot of top players start to just kind of reveal how they think about the game, and try to help some of the other players around that maybe aren't so smart, like me.
Well, actually, when the game first came out, and I was learning the game myself, there was like guides on YouTube and all this, and build orders on Team Liquid and all that. So there's an audience for it. Like I like bookmarked all the pages and tried to get all my timings right and do my own builds around that, and that helped me. So yeah, definitely it can help. So yeah, if you're a Terran fan, check out Euthermal's YouTube. There's a bunch of other ones out there. I think Beastie Cutie does a lot of YouTube stuff. And while not builds, Wardy uploads a lot of his casts to YouTube as well. So he, by all reports, I think, speaking to him, his YouTube is doing quite well. So yeah, there's a lot of StarCraft content out there if you want to search for it.
Yeah, ton of stuff to help you out if you're looking for even just something entertaining to watch. Sometimes you don't even have to learn. There's just a lot of very entertaining content out there as well.
Well, back to some live entertaining content. What are our predictions for TSL finals? 6 players remaining.
This tournament has gone so against all of my predictions that I'm struggling. Looking back at the beginning of this, a lot of the players that are left I wouldn't have guessed would still be here. So I'm gonna go out of the box here a little bit, and I'm gonna say a laser gets to the finals against Trap.
Okay, that's I was not expecting that kind of prediction. It's okay. I think the finals is going to be, man, between Trap and Sue. Hard to say. I think I'm going to say Trap, and the other finally should be Innovation. I actually think Innovation can still make a big run to the finals. He has a laser in the next match, and I really think a laser has no chance. I think Innovation is just a better player. And then playing the winner of Uthermal and Cest. Uthermal already beat Cest once. The question is, can he do it again? Okay. It was a 3-0, yes, but doing it a second time, I think that is going to be the important thing. And I'm not sure if Uthermal can pull it.
You'd also expect Zest to learn from that. So
yes, especially that.
Well, 2 guys that always surprise me. I don't know why, they're quality players. Is Laser and Sue. They always get really good results. Probably because we don't see them so much in OSC events. But yeah, whenever they show up for something like this, or a WCS, or obviously GSL, what Sue's done there, it speaks for itself. But when they do play, they always have deep runs. So maybe one of them can go all the way. Looking at Innovation, he's had such a good, strong 2020 already. We talked about him in the GSL. He had a deep run there, top 4. He's currently number 2 in the OSC World Rankings. He's done really well in a lot of the tournaments he's played, had deep runs there. He's probably the favorite, I would say, despite being in the lower bracket, in my opinion.
I would agree with that. I would think Innovation is the favorite of these players. Trap versus Sue is going to be interesting because they both kind of have a penchant for either dominating and making the other player look kind of silly, or just doing the opposite. We could honestly either have some of the best games of the tournament or some of the worst games of the tournament in that series. it just depends on who shows up that day. Sometimes Trap looks like he couldn't beat a mid GM NA Zerg, and sometimes it looks like he's unstoppable. It's kind of crazy how back and forth he can be in that matchup. And yeah, sorry for cursing Trap, Gemini. My bad. But either way, I think it's going to be really entertaining. So I'm looking forward to it this weekend.
Anyone's tournament to win can be good.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's always ping to take into consideration.
Yeah, I think all games will be played on NA except for the winners final, probably. Yeah,
So then everybody can complain. Yes, that's what we're hoping for. and you guys that live very far away from those servers, just sit back and laugh and say you don't even know the half of it. All right, well, shall we move on from the TSL? We could do another raffle drawing. Might be about time.
it's up to you. So next prize would be for 50% off an order at the OSC shop.
That's right.
We're giving away 2 of those. If you want to copy the list and paste it,
Do a little copy paste action.
and hit that randomize button.
Oh, I see. It saves the list from before. Well, we'll just have to do the relist, and that's randomize. All right, so we've got 2 prizes for this one. That's going to be Irv Nasty and Mixu. And I believe Irv Nasty only had 1 ticket in there. So there you go. Anybody's game.
Congratulations, guys.
All right.
What do you guys think about the new map pool?
I haven't looked at it very much. I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't perused the new maps yet.
I'm not sure what to think of the Blizzard decision for re-adding Eternal Empire to the map pool after player feedback. Originally, when the map pool was revealed, one of the maps that was going to be out of the new map pool season was Eternal Empire, and instead they left in Purity and Industry, which apparently was a very unpopular choice, according to all the comments on Reddit until Liquid I read. And Blizzard decided to back out. And instead of getting Eternal Empire out, they put it in, and they remove Purity and Industry, one of the old maps.
I mean, personally,
yes,
I think it's good that they took out the map that everybody vetoes.
Yes. On one hand, yes, I agree. They're listening to player feedback. They're getting the bad map out and the good map in. On the other hand, like I feel they just how do you say give in to the pressure. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I can see that a little bit. Like there was a lot of negative feedback about it. So Blizzard doesn't really have a history of doing that, though. It feels like with these kinds of things, it feels like a lot of time a map pool will come out. Everybody will complain about all sorts of things, and nothing happens. So I was very intrigued by the fact that this time the feedback must have been overwhelmingly the exact same for them to change it. You know, there was no race bias. It was like, this map, just take it out, put in this one instead. Everybody must have felt that way for them to just do it. At least that's the feeling I get from it.
Yes. And for this occasion, I mean, I agree. Like it was a good decision, but like for future decisions that perhaps Blizzard has a better reasoning that we don't know about, and if they give it again, like I don't know what kind of precedent it sends.
Well, I think it might be a good precedent. For me, I feel like the maps have often been a very divisive topic where a lot of pro gamers really disagree with Blizzard decisions, and a lot of map makers really disagree with Blizzard's decisions. I hear a lot of negativity from them, from both sides often. And I think it might show that they're, the people at Blizzard are listening, they're taking notes, they're paying attention to what is going on in the community, what's being said, and they're like, okay, well, they already reach out to people in the community and pro players to discuss maps for the next season, I believe. But in general, the fact that they're able to accept that feedback and do a quick turnaround, I'm pretty happy about that. I don't want it to become the norm necessarily, but if they're willing to do that, they might be willing to work in other ways that could help benefit our upcoming map pools.
Just a shout out to the map makers as well. It's a hard gig,
Oh, absolutely.
and quite often, yeah, there's not universal love for the map. Someone's always got some issue with it. Maybe fair enough, but yeah, well done to those guys for continually creating new maps. So the
and I think
map pool isn't stale.
I think it's totally fine to have some maps that are, there are always going to be some maps that are better for one race in whatever meta we're in. And I think it's up to Blizzard to choose, because they always have, from the Team Liquid map contests, way more maps than they're ever going to have in a season, right? So I think it's up to them to choose which ones need to go in to try to balance with those maps. Oh, is Zerg really strong right now? Well, we need to look at utilizing the maps then, because the game's not changing all that much. Is Terran really strong right now? Maybe we need to consider that. And that's something that has kind of been done, but not necessarily in the best ways. It always feels like we're a couple months out of step between the meta and the maps coming in, where the maps come in for last month's meta, and then this month we're in a new place. So that's why I do kind of like these last minute changes, because I think that reflects, if Terran was super weak right now, I think keeping Purity in Industry would be good. It's a Terran favored map. That's not the case. So I think they made a really good decision changing it out for something that I think most people agree is very balanced. That's my view.
Well say, well say.
But
I
are you
guess
guys
we'll have to see
familiar
how
at
they
all
play
with the new maps?
I
I just
mean,
had a glance at the pictures.
yeah, I mean, I look at them and I'm like, yeah, they look fine. Like nothing super, way off. Like they seem relatively standard for the way maps have been the last few years.
Yeah.
And I'm not such a high level player to get all the details out of them. So
I always
they're
found it
just
really
maps.
difficult until I actually loaded up the game into the map and started playing. Even if I'm just playing versus an AI or something, I always found it very difficult to actually get a feeling for a map before then. But I'm looking forward to it. I love having new maps.
My latter days are well behind me, but from a viewer standpoint, like the submarine map looks pretty cool. Look forward to seeing some games on that.
Oh yeah, and we can have floating dead bodies again, right?
Can we?
I think so. I
Is
We'll have
think
it?
to see.
the gravity is reversed. So
Yeah, if it's underwater, it's reverse.
yeah.
What was the map that it was very popular a few years ago?
Oh, I can't remember it right now.
Yeah, but it was like a whole year in the map pool.
Yeah, it was one of the few maps that I think made it for 3 seasons. Oh, that's killing me. Maybe somebody in chat will help us out.
So we should have the pro players on that remember all these maps better than us.
They'll talk about how imbalanced it was.
Yeah. By the way, not part of the 1v1 map pool, but in 2v2, shout out to the new map Nightscape, because aesthetically that map looks very gorgeous.
Wow.
Like I
Yeah.
almost wanna play 2v2 just because of that.
Oh, that looks great.
It does.
Looks a bit like that disco something map we had in the pool.
Yeah,
Yeah?
Disco Bloodbath. It definitely has the 80s vibe going on. The neon lights. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
I've heard good feedback about the team maps that are coming in this season. So I don't play a lot of team games, but I'm glad that there is still some love for the team game scene.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Shall we
maps
move on?
are an essential part of tournaments, yeah? And you
True
run your
story.
own tournament, Chickenman.
Absolutely.
How's that going?
It's been going fantastic. It's been going fantastic. Had a lot of good times, a lot of memes. As you said, the Joker, some cosplay action. It's always fun. And of course the games are always good too. I gotta say I've been really loving seeing Milky Cow play in more tournaments.
Yeah, he's been performing quite well in a few tournaments. Definitely an up and comer from Russia.
Yeah, somebody that I honestly hadn't heard of until maybe a month and a half ago. Had no idea who he was. And then all of a sudden started seeing him in all sorts of tournaments. And yeah, really been exciting. I think he plays really well, and he's so young. Just another one of those really young, talented players.
So he's had 2 second places in Cock of the Walk, and
Yeah.
he came up against fellow countrymen, B and Vanya, 2 tough opponents there.
Yeah, those are tough ones to defeat. You can't blame him for getting second place. That's what up and comer is, right? Eventually, he starts getting those first places.
Yeah, well, maybe we can just search for him in the rankings, see how he's doing. So he hasn't played in that many tournaments as of yet, 7, but he's won 1 already. So yeah, maybe he likes your tournament more than others.
There you go. It's because I say nice things about him.
I thought it was because of the cosplay.
6 of one, half a dozen in the other. It works either way. I'll take it.
But you're enjoying it?
Oh yeah, it's been going fantastic. It's one of my favorite things to do every single week. Because
Good.
I get to
It's
say
getting
the word cock a whole lot.
it's getting quite good numbers too, especially considering the prize pool. Looking at the numbers, you're averaging like 25 and a half signups with a record of 34, which is quite good for a standard $35 cup. And also, I think you get a lot of support through Matcherino too with your audience. So
Yeah.
that's really great for the players too. So
Yeah,
win-win
it's
all
been
around.
really great. We've had a lot of weeks with donations through the Matcherino. People, they want to see the good Starcraft. They want to see Bly come in and just absolutely crush everybody. Yeah, a lot of support. And I think it helps that there hasn't been a lot of conflict. That time slot seems to be not conflicting with a lot. I know I've seen a lot of other tournaments where, something big's coming in, there's a qualifier going on, and it just smashes everything out of the way. Somehow I've managed to avoid that.
Yeah, that happens. We were actually supposed to broadcast some of our mid-season playoffs earlier today, but Home Story Cup qualifiers, so we just shifted that around. No biggie, but that happens. So yeah, you got quite lucky. So that's in a good time for both EU and NA, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys think about NA and Latin America at the moment, given that's your areas of specialty, so to say?
Oh, I think Latin America, especially, I think we're going through a good phase of events. Like many events are happening not only inside the OSC but also outside. And the community, I think, is being very supportive of it. Like we have a very good number of signups both in Sentimiento Latino and in Battle of the Americas and all the tournaments outside of it. And yeah, I think it's doing great. Like possibly the best we had for online events in a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a big resurgence, especially in Battle of the Americas and the Sentimentino Latino over the last sort of month or two. You guys are both in our OSC staff chat. You probably see me saying new record, new record. You guys are doing really good,
Yes,
which is
it's scary when you say that because now I have new expectations to them to make.
well, that's true. But we also track the averages, and your averages are going really great too. And another event we did a couple of months back with Jim Rising, the Taco Cup, that was quite successful. And not just the main event, the qualifier that had 78 signups and 51 check-ins for a small qualifier. I think $25.
Yes, I
Latin
mean,
America only, so
yes,
region locked tournament.
it's insane. Like Jim Rising, Jim Rising is a very popular guy. He's one of the biggest streamers in not only in Latin America and Starcraft in general. So a name like his attracts a lot of people. And yeah, I ran that qualifier. We had a lot of people, a lot of good people playing as well. Not only amateurs, we have almost every GM in the region playing, and it went really well. I could not be happier for it.
That's
All the
fantastic.
qualifiers have done quite well, actually. Like over this was the fifth Taco Cup. We track all the numbers at OSC, and the qualifiers average 50 signups and 27 check-ins. So it's not just this latest edition; it's quite a popular event.
It is, and I hope Jim brings more Taco Cup in the future.
Yeah, it's a fun tournament. And what are your thoughts, Chickenman, on NA or Latin American guys?
I mean, I'm excited to see again just a lot of new faces starting to show up. You know, it feels like every time I watch a new tournament, there's somebody who I'm not super familiar with, and then they just play really well. And maybe they don't get super far, but it's just exciting knowing that they're out there. And I think NA's been looking really good. Future has been absolutely crushing it. Estrella was looking so good a couple weeks ago during the ESL Cup in Korea. He got second place, and he was looking fantastic the entire time. So I'm really
I
excited.
think he's had a few good Kung Fu Cup runs as well.
Yeah, his adept control in PVZ, I was kind of blown away, to be honest with you. I was really, really impressed.
And there's been a few new teams sort of entered the scene, and they picked up a few NA players as well. Teams like XCon, Exxon, Archangel, Cosmos, and they've all sort of, I guess, they sort of started off with a few Korean players, like Chance and such, but now they've picked up some NA players. So we've got like Chams on Exxon as well as Nina, and Exxon are running their own bi-weekly tournament now, which is cool. And all those teams are really, it seems to be, they're pushing their players to be active and play in these tournaments and really promoting them and their results, which is cool. Like probably, arguably, Nina, formerly Puck, is maybe in career best form at the moment. Looking at tournaments, it's certainly the most I've seen her play.
Yeah,
She's
she's been
playing
killing
in
it
a lot.
lately, absolutely tearing it up. So I've been excited about that for sure. And Cham is currently rank 1.
Cham is Cham.
Cham is Cham.
Yeah, you got the usual suspects, Cham, Starkiller, and some of these guys. You mentioned Future. Someone new who I've actually seen over the last few weeks is Paddy Mac, an American
Oh yeah,
Protoss, I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, he's been doing like really well in Battle of the Americas. He has one win, one second place, and several top four. And I believe the other day he got second place in a Shishardi Open.
Yeah,
And
he's on both he's in top 6 position on both leaderboards because they're both Super Series, aren't they? So he's featured on front page of SC2 Online. So that's pretty cool.
yeah, he's been doing really well. One of the questions that you post here in the show notes is who's your up and comer, and for me, Patty Mac is my up and comer. Like this guy is really good. Just this last week, he got a second place in Battle of the Americas. He beat in the semifinals Nina,
Mm.
Wow.
and yeah, he's been doing great. He's been killing it. I just checked his Wikipedia page like before the show started, and it says that he's 16 years old.
Well, there you go.
So the guy is literally an up and comer.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love to see that. Yeah, I have noticed Patty Mac's name pop up a few times here and there, so looking forward to
Dr.
more.
Ryan might be another name who's
Yeah,
sort of done
yeah.
well. He recently joined the OC Elite Rewards Club and jumped in for King of the Hill straight away, and he won 2 maps, I think. So that was a good start for him.
Damn. That is a good start. That's hard to do in the King of the Hill.
Best of the best. And maybe someone like Silky, who plays a lot in the NA Apprentice run by Sugar, and he's been taken down like Future and been really strong in those series of events. Someone who's maybe not as active elsewhere, but certainly within like NA regional locked events, he's doing quite well. As well as I think Jon Snow beat Future recently in that as well. I'm not having to go at Future. That's obviously he's at a pretty good level to assess other players from. So yeah, those guys doing well in that circuit, supporting North Americans.
Yeah, that's great. I think the fact that the game is 10 years old, and we're still having new young players who are starting to crush it. It's really cool to see, A lot of the dead game meme seems more dead than the game ever has been. Moving forward here in 2020.
How do you think the EPT Pro Tour will affect Latin America or NA? They obviously,
Ooh.
because of COVID-19, had to cancel the offline tours, but now it's all moved online. How do you think it'll benefit the players or hinder them, or what do you think?
I mean, it's a double-edged sword for Latin America at least because on one hand we had a bigger prize pool for a challenger event. Last couple of years it was $10,000 per season. Now it is 7,200. So that's quite a lot of extra money. But the event
A lot
is
of
now
Doritos.
yes, the event now is only for 8 players.
Ah,
The event it is weird because the top 16 players get paid, you know, but the event itself is only 8. So that means that there are 8 players from the qualifier or qualifiers, however the many are, that are going to get money, but they're not going to be featuring on stream, because they're not part of the main 8 for the event. Even I saw special like doing a tweet to Apollo asking to make the event 16 players because you're already paying 16.
Yeah, might as well
Yeah.
Why
have
not?
them.
Why not feature the 16?
and Copa's such a good event. If it ain't broke, maybe don't change it.
Yes, it is like even though the money for the lower places in Copa was not very much. It was I think $200 at most. The fact that you get featured on the stream, playing like in the biggest event of your region, and then suddenly like half of that players are gone, like kind of a sour taste.
And there's quite a few guys who might be challenging. Paco Mike, I've been impressed with his results lately. Eggs is another. Be nice to see one of those guys sort of push through, get top 3.
I don't know. It's going to be a bloodbath this coming qualifiers, to make the cut to top 8.
The payments might be something they have to look at. Like, I just had a bit of a look at C for Australia and New Zealand as well. And that's the same sort of thing. You've got paying top 16 but only doing a top 8. So how's the payments going to work from 8th to 16th across 4 qualifiers or something like that? Not too sure of the breakdown.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting.
It feels a little strange that they're just not doing a top 16 bracket instead. It seems like that would be, I don't know, that would just be the more normal thing, if you're one of the top 16
that's
players.
I think my only criticism to ESL to fix for next season,
Yeah.
make the region 16. Like
Because
every one of us have.
Oh, sorry, I was just pointing out maybe an issue that came to mind for me was, let's say you place 3rd in one qualifier, 4th in the next, 3rd in another one, and you're still missing out, but you're taking out spots for cash in each of those effectively, yeah? So can you cash multiple times, or is it going to have to make some sort of weird tiebreaker playoff situation? Or because if you don't qualify in one qualifier, you can come back, yeah.
To be honest, I don't think we. Well, at least for Latin America, I don't think we even know if we have multiple qualifiers, or there's only one. Like we don't know anything other than the dates for the tournament itself. So perhaps there's only one qualifier.
And what they'd invite 4, 8.
I mean,
seems a bit hard.
there are 2 invites for the first season, and the other 6 are through qualifier. But we don't know if there are multiples or if there's only one. We don't know. And I hope they tell us soon, because the tournament itself is supposed to start is like 20 days or something.
Yeah.
So ESL, please.
Yeah, that information seems very useful right about now. I know they did scramble to, get all this together, but yeah. Yeah, it's hard to get qualifiers and things like that together if it's such short notice. A lot of people might not be able to attend, and that would be really unfortunate to have somebody who's
especially
like,
if there's only one, like, screwed, aren't you?
Yeah.
But credit to them. This is plan B, obviously, because of COVID-19 and restrictions, and overall it looks pretty decent setup.
Yeah, this was something that I'm sure a lot of sleepless nights and long meetings on Zoom, where the result was this system, which I think overall is quite good. There are going to be some kinks to work out, but hopefully it's not something that needs repeating in the future, right? We're all hoping that this kind of ends by the time 2020 ends and we can get back to our regularly scheduled lives, including some ESL live events. I'm very disappointed that I was hoping to go to an event this year, and it's not going to happen.
Same.
But
2021. That's the theme of today.
Yep.
2020 is cancelled.
We'll just pretend this year never happened.
All right, shall we do another part of the draw?
I think that sounds like a great plan.
So this will be for an OSC tournament named after you, to the value of $50. So yeah, it could be the Mio Micah Cup per se, or it could be the Bly Open or something like that. So this is only for one person. We'll hit randomize, and lucky them.
Let's find
you
out.
may have you may have innovation playing in your tournament.
It's gonna be Mixu. Mixu gets the tournament. So
that's his second time drawed out today, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. I was just gonna say he was drawn out in the last one. Lucky Mixu. So we'll have the Mixu Open or something of that nature.
Maybe. Mixu Madness We'll come up with something. So we've still got 6 tickets left, and there is 6 prizes remaining.
We're getting to the good stuff now.
Oh, 7 actually. Math. Yes. From now on, it's cash. What we're all here for, eh?
This is when all the people on the list tune back in.
Yep.
Oh, Marsman, there have been a few draws, but unfortunately, your name has not come up on any of the lists just yet. Which, hopefully, you're saving it for the big money.
Or fortunately, depends.
There you go.
So we've done a bit of general topics and such. Maybe we can move on to what's happening in OSC.
Yeah, absolutely. So, May 2020.
Just a quiet month.
Yeah.
We actually it was a milestone month for us. We passed 100 tournaments, 102 tournaments across all our leagues, which is a record for us. Quite insane, really, because you only got 31 days. So
yeah,
when
that's
you think about
that's
that,
a lot of tournaments. Multiple
so
per day.
This is why it takes a little while to update the rankings. Credit to the guys that do that. Yeah, but we've been consistently hitting, your 70 to 80 tournaments for a while. So this is a bit of a push on that, but it's a nice target to hit. Really proud of all the staff and all the tournament organizers, volunteers, players, fans, everybody who's sort of got us to this moment, built OSC to what it is, and who continue to work with us going forward. Let's make 100 the new average, right?
Oh man, yeah,
100 events a month.
That's amazing. That's really insane, and I love it. And I think it's really cool too. I just got to say that everybody at OSC has always been just like really, really wonderful to work with, including and especially you, Eddie. But everybody involved has always been like super pleasant, super great to work with, and really passionate and caring. And it's not 100 tournaments, but it's just money thrown. It's really true passion put into the esports scene here. That I think you're a really valuable part of the community. And I'm super excited. 100 tournaments in a month is crazy.
Yeah, I like to say we're run by the community for the community. We have a big network of people involved, obviously, and together we do great things. So yeah, well done to everybody. And that is, of course, Starcraft and Hearthstone predominantly, as well as a small little poker circuit that we've been running.
Very cool. Here's to 100 tournaments on the regular.
Yeah, well, we'll actually be hitting 3,000 total events maybe in July, unless we hit 100 again in June. So that'll be another mini milestone. Obviously, OSC has been running 8 years, so yeah, it all adds up, eh?
Yeah. Damn.
I started off 10 years ago doing one tournament a week. Here we are now.
That's where you start. You got to start somewhere, right? So
Yep.
Speaking of Hearthstone, we've talked a lot about Starcraft. Shall we discuss some of the Hearthstone action going on?
Yeah, definitely. In April, we actually had our season 1 championship for the first season, which was about 12 months. Big shout out to Bloody Wraith, who was the director of setting all that up initially, until she had to step down for some personal reasons. And she was assisted by Toxavia as admin for those events, who had since stepped up to replace her as director in the later stages of last year. And he sort of ran this championship and he set up season 2, and that's all going really well. So season 1 championship was for a modest $300, featuring the top 16 players. And if you look at it, it ended up being sort of like a Cuba versus Philippines sort of playoff bracket. It was those two nations featured prominently, with a little bit of a sprinkling from other countries and players involved. And Overlord was our champion, who he actually played in the most tournaments throughout the year. Obviously, this is an OSC season, so we have our rankings and we track all the data and stuff like that. So yeah, we could see how many tournaments they played, their wins, their earnings, and hopefully that helped those guys, even if it's the very, very beginning of a circuit, a league for Hearthstone.
Yeah, Overlord living up to his name there. Really dominating the bracket.
Yeah, quite impressive. He finished third in the rankings, and yeah, just came to play on the week it was played over. So we had, including the championship, 140 tournaments in our first season, which is quite a decent start.
Yeah, that's a good few tournaments for the first season. Yeah, a good place to start. And yeah, it sounds like it's been going really, really well. I'm sure season 2 will be even better.
Yeah, well, season 2 is live now, actually. No mucking around, no breaks. We're straight back into it. And we created a Hall of Fame page for Hearthstone, if you want to pull that up, because that's something we take pride in, is highlighting players and their achievements. Obviously, with Starcraft, we have 8 years of history and records. We're just starting out with Hearthstone, but already there's some quite impressive numbers there in terms of tournaments played, tournaments won. You look at some of the guys' tournament win percentages, and one champion, Overlord.
Yeah, wow. Best series win percentage, 70%. Fast 44, that's 67 tournaments, had a 70% win percentage. That's insane.
Yeah, so we actually break that down into 3 categories. Like, you can play in 10 tournaments and have 70%, but that might be more impressive if you're playing in 50 tournaments. Yeah, so to play in more tournaments for such a high percentage is quite impressive.
That is consistency at its finest right there.
Yeah, and it's looking at the rankings. Fast 44 and Bad Boy ended up being 1 and 2, and they won the first and second most tournaments. So there was a bit of a rivalry in the first year between those two guys. Fast 44 sort of came in later and was catching up tournaments, and yeah, pretty cool. Good mix of countries and players. Predominantly, it's all NA and SEA guys, largely because it's run on the North American server and sort of in that time zone. And maybe that the sort of currency converts a bit better for those areas. But yeah, who knows where to next? Season 2 live now. We've got 4 tournaments a week, which is great. Toxavia has brought in some new partners. The Copa Doomhammer, that's a second weekly tournament, as well as the new Kale Theus Cup. I'm probably butchering the name. I'm not a Hearthstone player myself, but that tournament is pretty insane looking at the numbers. It's just a $30 cup, a modest $30 cup, but it's getting 128 signups and 128 check-ins every single week. Huge brackets, with a record of 227 people trying to play, because it's capped at 128, right? So a lot of players missing out. There's a lot of players that like playing Hearthstone, which is pleasing to see. So we're getting involved with a big community of players.
That's awesome. Yeah, look at that. That is a lot of people. That is a big bracket.
And our other Season 1 Cups, Leroy Jenkins and America's Open, formerly NA Open, that got a sort of rebrand. They've been hitting increased sign-up numbers and check-in numbers, bigger brackets in season 2 already. As you guys can probably testify from my acknowledgements in our Discord chats, they're doing really well there too. So yeah, well done to Toxavia and Hearthstone players.
Yeah, that's really great to see Hearthstone growing as well. Keeping that esports scene alive. Just the casual month over here at OSC. Keeping esports alive. So, back to a little bit of Starcraft action. Next on our list, we have the OSC Super Series. We got the mid-season playoffs that have been going on already. They're starting.
They are underway. We've had one broadcast day. I mentioned a bit earlier that we actually had planned to broadcast another 6 series today, but we've just done a little reschedule because of Home Story Cup qualifiers, which is fair enough. Wardy casted the first day of games on his channel and will be predominantly casting the bracket. However, Creighton has stepped up and will be casting Sunday. So tune into his channel after TSL finals, and we'll have some really good games here because this is quite a good-looking bracket, if I do say so. A lot of good players.
Yeah, fantastic looking bracket. And it could go a lot of different ways because there are a lot of strong names in here. I mean, we've been talking about Cure a lot already, and there's a very real chance that he could go all the way to the end, but he's got some competition in the meantime.
Yeah, well, he's running into rank 1, isn't he? He's running into Cham, who's wins a lot in sort of the Latin America region. So this is one of the types of events where we're getting players from all over the world, the top players from the rankings, meeting up. The feedback we sort of had late last year, we sort of asked for feedback, particularly from our rewards club members, was if we can do some bigger tournaments throughout the year leading into the championship. So what we came up with was the Super Series. So we do 3 mid-season playoffs of $1,500 each, and we have leaderboard pathways we're trialing a few events, and those weekly events have a playoff, and the players can qualify for the playoffs, the mid-season playoffs through there, or we have pathways for our elite club members, and collectively they form this bracket. Everybody gets played, and they play off for a high seed in the end of year championship. So that's something too. So we can continue that narrative of the championship building towards something throughout the year now.
I think that's really cool, adding these kind of events in, and it's super hype. I mean, again, the players just so good. You got Wardy casting, Creighton Olsen, 10 out of 10.
Indeed, and it's also really benefited the selected Super Series 5 weekly tournaments. We have the Masters Cup, sort of a legacy Starcraft event. We have the Shershadai Open has come in this season actually, sorry. We just started up season 2. That's live. The Sunday Showdown, the Passion Craft guys are working with us on that. Who else do we have? The IndieK Weekly. That's been performing really well, so we're pleased to reward that community and bring them in for season 2, as well as which one am I missing? There's only 5.
Come on, Eddie, don't miss it.
The Battle of the Americas, one of my favorite tournaments. I have the T-shirt and everything. And then, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, that's getting really good numbers too. So, yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I like it. So it's something we're continuing to assess, and that might expand more tournaments with unique leaderboards in 2021. That's the dream. So it's pretty cool that all these players can track their rankings within individual tournaments now.
Yeah,
And
no, I love that, combining all the different tournaments, getting everybody in on the action, and a lot of different regions going on too.
Yeah, and we mentioned like earlier before, like a couple of players who have been performing well in North America, like Nina and who was it, Paddy Mack. Those guys have been able to maybe feature a bit more predominantly because of the leaderboards, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, get a lot of those newer faces in there. More experience, the better. And then they get to go up against some of the big names. I do love getting to see kind of an underdog story. You know, maybe you get a crazy matchup one of these days. You get a Patty Mac against a Cure or somebody. And hey, who knows? Listen, I'm not saying Patty Mac's going to be favored there, but I'd love to see him, you know, put up a good fight. Those kinds of games are so much fun to watch.
Anyone can take a series. It can be hard, but we also do have OSC bounties. So a lot of these guys like Cure, Bly, Uthermal, etc., have bounties on them. So if you do take them down in a series, you might not win the whole tournament, but you'll probably get a cash prize for it. So that's another little bonus. And even in the games broadcasted so far in this mid-season playoffs first edition, have a look at a rising Korean talent like Dynamite took a game off Cure in a best of 3. Pili, he's back. You know, he was a predominant name in the NA scene for quite a while, a rising talent guy who won a lot of tournaments, online tournaments. He seems to be back now too, has joined a new team, and he went 1-2 against Bly, and we all know Bly's a hard guy to beat in the series. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see him back, and both those guys actually qualified through those Super Series leaderboards. So well done to them.
Yeah, I love seeing Dynamite playing a lot of those online cups. That's where I first saw him actually was when he first came back from his military service. It was in one of the OSC cups. He wasn't Dynamite at the time. I think he was Bulldozer. And I had no idea who he was, and he was, I mean, you know, he's a very good Korean Terran. And yeah, super surprising, and I'm hoping to see a lot more from him because he's been kind of powering up for the last year and a half, but I want to see him break through to the next level. Taking a game off of Cure is already very nice. Cure, the GSL finalist. But shall we do another quick raffle drawing?
Let's do it. So this is for $25. 7th place, $25 to one player.
All right, the first of the cash prizes.
Get a bit of a drum roll happening.
And we've got Gerald winning our first cash prize.
Congratulations.
Gerald, another player who features in that mid-season playoffs. He's having a good year.
Yeah, he's been looking really good this year for sure.
Particularly in PvP. That Sunday Showdown bracket was actually 4 Protoss players, 4 good European Protoss players, but he came out on top.
Being good at PvP is a skill that it's almost like witchcraft. I don't think anybody really understands it, but some people can just do it. All right. What is our next topic here? I've completely lost track of where we were. Oh, we were talking about the Super Series a little bit.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts on that Darking, considering you run the Battle of the Americas?
I think is doing great, and it's a great it's a great opportunity for the players who maybe not be able to play like many OFC events, but they have the time to play like one specific series. So if you do well in that specific series, you can like qualify to the Super Series and then go straight to the OSC Championship, which at the end of the year you kind of require quite a lot of points and to be consistent through the year. So yeah, I think it's great overall, and I hope in the future we see more tournaments added to it. I have a Super Series that is how do you say not bigger, that had a more wide selections of events that players can choose to participate in.
We may well do. I do think it's a good point that having a weekly tournament that you can make sort of your regular is pretty cool, and you can have regular rivals, or the viewers can follow regular players and see how they're going on the unique leaderboard. Is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's one of the fun things about a lot of these weekly events is you do get a lot of those regulars, and you end up with, all right, are they going to meet in the finals again? And maybe they, the finals from last week is the semifinals this week, and tensions can be a little higher. I think you can make it more fun, especially if you have more on the line, like with the Super Series. Maybe getting to that finals is going to be even more important for them.
Yeah, and they each week awards points to top 8. So even if you bust out top 8 one week, that point may be important overall.
Yeah, and maybe your rival isn't able to play one week, and there you go. That's all you need, is that 1 week just to get to edge ahead a little bit, even if they beat you more often than not.
All right, shall we do another raffle draw? Keep it moving along.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan here.
So what do we got now? $50.
$50.
Good luck, everybody.
Good luck indeed. All right, it's gonna be Vanya. Vanya getting the $50.
Congratulations, going straight to Russia.
Yes, another rising talent.
That's right. It feels like Vanya's been around for a while, but he is still a very young player, isn't he?
Yep, recently picked up, or maybe a couple of months back, by a new team. So he's having a great 2020.
Yeah, he's been looking really good too. Getting to play in TSL 5 he qualified for. And I think a lot of people were really surprised about that, but super good for him.
He had a deep run in the OSC Season 7 Championship at the start of the year as well.
Just doing good on all fronts. All right, well, we were talking about the Hearthstone Hall of Fame earlier. We also have a Starcraft Hall of Fame. And recently the King of the Hill was added to that, which there are a lot of really cool records in the King of the Hill.
Yeah, so this is a weekly event that we do for our reward club members. It's a best of one and win cash for taking down someone one map. Winner goes on, losers eliminated. Usually 13 maps a week. Kashim admins it for us. And yeah, we look at like some really long win streaks. Uthermal's the leader there. The last person on the final map is double the cash, and they get to take the title of Weekly King, and optional, they can come back next week and go for a longer streak.
Yeah, so like you said, 13 wins in a row or 13 games per day So for Euthermal to get 16, he did come back next time and just kept it
Yep.
going for a little bit. But Bly is still the 4-time king, more than anybody else, keeping that title for now. And
He's won more than anybody else too.
Yeah, 53 maps. Damn,
Crazy.
that is
He's
huge.
won $430.
He's a mainstay of the tournament scene, isn't he? He's been doing this a long time, Bly.
Yeah, yes.
And the King of the Hill ranking leaderboard is also featured on the front page of SC2 Online. So another way to highlight those guys who are doing quite well there. And there's a good mix of them too. Obviously, best of ones. Anyone can win maps, and collectively, we've given out nearly $2,800 so far. So
Wow.
split between all the players.
Yeah, and like you were talking about earlier, there are some bounties as well.
Yes, but not in best of ones. That's the
not in
catch.
best of one. That's true.
Got to be best
That's
of 3
true.
plus.
That makes sense. But I do love King of the Hill for a lot of the. I don't want to call them upsets necessarily, but maybe surprises. You know, in a best of one, anything can happen. Anything can happen, especially if it comes right at the end of the day. That last map, somebody's been looking good on a win streak, and then you think they have it in the bag, but sometimes they get caught out.
There is actually a small King of the Hill series bonus. Like if you did take somebody down who's on a streak of wins, like say 8 wins and I want to say 15 wins, you get a cash bonus for wherever they are on that.
For being the combo breaker.
Yep, for being the guy to stop them. Best of one. As well as the person who takes down the reigning king. There's a small cash bonus there. And we mentioned the last map is double prize. So yeah, a few little bonuses there. And usually Creighton casts this for us. And yeah, people love it. It's a good format.
It is. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun for sure. I usually tune in for at least one of these because there are a couple of them every week.
Yep, and it's open to our reward club members, which anyone can join for $5 a month.
Yeah, there are some people who, you know, they are not a pro player and they just like to play in these kind of cups. So you get them every now and then hopping in because they're part of the elite rewards club.
Yeah, and there's obviously a lot more bonuses and tournaments that gives you access to, like we were talking about the mid-season playoffs earlier. So yeah, if you want to check it out, the information's on SC2 Online, of course.
Everything. It's such a useful website. So much information, and yeah.
Yeah. If you want to scroll up, we also added the Starcraft series win rates. So that's obviously a bigger sample size. And from the
Yeah.
last couple of seasons, we had access to that data. And there's some really impressive numbers there.
Yeah, man, this is a lot of data for sure. Cham holding not only the number 1 most tournaments won in a season, but also the number 2.
Well, if you look at it now, there's one highlighted in blue, darker blue, and that's this season.
That's
so
current.
we're talking late January to mid-May, because the rankings are about 2 weeks behind at the moment. And he's won 32 tournaments this season alone.
Yes.
Which is insane.
11 of which are Battle of the Americas, by the way.
Yeah. Season 1, he did dominate that, but already in season 2, it's been a bit of variety. So Cham's got to come back and defend his crown, perhaps.
I mean, he already did. He won last week. So he's the
There you
current
go.
champion again. Gotta call in special.
Right? Man, Cham is on pace. He's gonna blow his old record out of the water here. Gonna have 60
Probably,
tournament
yes.
wins this year. And half of them are gonna be Battle of the Americas. It's gonna be Battle of the Cham soon.
Yes, he's a very active and very skilled player. It's great to see him recognised for that. And what else do we have there? Well, I mentioned that we're only in effectively mid-May for the rankings updates, but there's a lot of guys nearly at 100 tournaments played as well. So
Yeah,
we might be
we were
seeing
talking about that.
on the
where is it? It's
front
on here
front
somewhere.
page of SC2 Online. There's a slider that rotates through the top leaders, and Zeomac is leading away
Oh
just
yeah,
just ahead of Marsman,
Marsman.
who last year played in over 200 tournaments. Insane.
God.
He's having a very good year as well. He won a tournament last week, and he just about plays in every second or third tournament there is. So who will get 100 first? We'll see.
It's gonna be soon.
Well, it would have already happened actually, because
Yeah, that's a good point.
but we don't know for sure. But yeah, some guys are already with very big numbers.
Really keeping the passion going, playing nonstop.
Yeah, and a good mix of regional diverse players there. Like you got Europe, and then you got a few guys from America and Latin America, and you got a few C guys like Justice Simon and the Mohawk, who've got really high participation as well. So
Yeah. I do love the way Starcraft brings us together from just about everywhere in the world. It is a global esport.
it's a community.
Yeah.
So yeah, well done to those guys. We might see a few guys hitting 200 this year, which is crazy to think about because there's only 365 days, eh? And the OSC season doesn't run for 365 days, maybe 300. So
And they're playing in, I mean, that's got to be multiple tournaments a day sometimes.
sometimes.
Shall we do another draw here?
Let's do it. How about for $100?
There you go. Getting into the big money now. Good luck. Ooh, Vivid. Vivid winning. That
Vivid.
$100.
Vivid is our brand ambassador from OSC Elite, the last remaining player from our esports team before we repurposed it to a rewards club. He's a Australian Zerg player who plays a lot in Starcraft domestic tournaments, OSC tournaments, but he's also quite a good Hearthstone player. He featured in the Season 1 Championship, so quite a talented gamer.
That is impressive.
Now $100 richer.
There you go. Congratulations. We still have 4 more of those drawings to go. So, still more cash prizes available for these guys waiting on their name to be called. Now,
See
Bly is
asking
in the
about
chat.
the
Yeah.
bounties. Yeah, the information is on SC2 Online. We've got a bounty list of players. They have a value attached to them. Basically, if you haven't beaten these guys multiple times before, you're eligible to claim a bounty on them if you beat them in a best of 3+ series. They must be playing their main race, etc. But if you've beaten the guy 3 times before, it's not an upset, so you're ineligible. So we've got a bounty list of, I think, about 20, 25 guys there, including Bly.
Yep, he's on there. He's the ultimate test for a lot of players. I've seen a lot of players try. And a lot of times it doesn't work out too well.
Doesn't matter if you're on the bounty list. You can still claim other people if you're eligible to. Like if you haven't beaten them before, we check through your career history on Leaguelac. And we've given out $16,500 and $16,500 and change over, I think, about 5 or 6 years now. So a lot of bounties.
Yes, that's
Damn.
quite a bit of money.
Yeah. So, keep an eye on who you defeated on the bounty list there.
It's a good idea to check in on that and have it open. And if you're playing in a bracket,
Especially
target
if there's
that guy
somebody
and take his bounty.
who's going to be a tough fight for you. I'm sure they're on here.
Yeah, and you can contact me if you think of one or email us along with attaching the replays, and you might be in luck. We'll pay it out via PayPal.
That's awesome.
So what we got next?
That is the question. All right.
This was supposed to be a quick show, eh?
Right? Just a quick hour, 45 minutes. We started a little late, maybe an hour and a half.
We were actually supposed to have a guest, so it could have had more input and dragged things along a bit more. So, well, not meant to be. Maybe a quick look at the Starcraft 2 World Rankings.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. We've been talking about him all day. Cham, up at number 1. Where he belongs, really.
Not for the first time.
Not for the first time. He plays in a lot of tournaments and he wins a lot of tournaments. But
any surprises there for you guys?
I look at this list so often, it feels like it's hard to be surprised anymore.
Yes,
I feel like
exactly the same. Like I take a look at it twice a week, so
I think Max Pax was one of the big surprises for me initially. But yeah, I don't know if I have anybody I'd say surprises me. These guys all play so consistently in the tournaments, and they very often do quite well. So at this point, not surprised to see anybody at the top of these lists this year.
I'm quite impressed by Cristiano, Polish Protoss player, young fella as well. He's 3rd on the rankings. He's been doing really well, winning a lot of tournaments. You mentioned Max Pax, another young Protoss player. Chance from Korea, although sort of in the last month his activities dropped off a bit, so he's fallen down to 10th. He was having a really good year. Justice Simon, one of my C boys, he's right up there in terms of participation as well as performing in regional tournaments. Just left Alpha X and picked up by Archangel Gaming straight away. It's great to see. And an old school player who's sort of come back and being a bit more active in the last few months, Calazor. He's been performing really well in Masters Cups and he's in the mid-season playoffs, so it's cool to see him back. He's actually in the Hall of Fame, someone who's performed arguably consistently the best in our end of year championships. He's had a few 3rd places in those, which is sort of like the ultimate, isn't it? Like, it's the best players at the end of the year, and to have such a great run in a bracket of a tournament that size is quite impressive, and he's done it multiple times. So it's cool to see him back playing.
Yeah, I have been really enjoying having Kelzer back. It did feel like he was gone for a little bit, but he's been one of my favorites for a long time. So happy to see him back, playing really well.
A couple of probably not household names too, I think, are doing really well. Is Spaz, a German, I think, Protoss player. He's doing all right. KIYJ, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but another European guy, he's doing all right. In terms of C players, Indonesian guy Quantel, he's doing well in the Alzai weeklies and GPO tournaments. We talked about Dynamite from Korea. Nasus Nasty, he's someone who plays in everything, and he's trying really well. He's racking up so many tournaments, and that's giving him a lot of points too. So there are a few maybe guys people aren't aware of that have caught my attention.
Yeah, it is cool to see a lot of these players. There's Patty Mac on the list as well. Moving up, playing in a lot more tournaments, getting a lot of that experience, and really working hard to get higher in the rankings. Putting in the work, putting in the hours. Talking about Nas is Nasty, who's played in 84 tournaments, and earlier Christiana, who's played in 85. That's just, those are huge numbers of tournaments played in, 5.5, 6 months?
Probably 4.5 months of rankings, considering, OSC season doesn't start until late January, because we have our championship.
That's a good point.
And our rankings are 1 to 2 weeks behind. We mentioned we had 100 tournaments in May, so please forgive us. But yes. So maybe he's played in 100.
There you go. Putting that quarantine time to good use.
Indeed. A lot of tournaments are posting really good sign-up numbers, as you guys can attest to.
Shall we reward one of these guys with a bit of a raffle?
Let's do it. So $125.
$125 it is. Good luck. B is going to take the $125.
Congratulations. He's Russian, if I recall correctly, yes?
Yes, indeed. And
Another
as I
one
have
to
to
Russia.
remind people all the time, it is not Livy B. Now, B had the most amount of tickets in there.
Indeed.
So that seemed to have paid off for him.
He played
today.
in the second most amount of tournaments last year, 180. 180.
Wow. That is.
And he won 127.
Yeah.
127. So
he often
a lot of
does quite
tournaments,
well.
a lot of tickets.
Gets a lot of top fours also. Top fours,
Yeah.
second places.
I want to say he finished second in the world rankings at the end of last year. I think it was Bly first, B second.
Yeah, that sounds like it could be very well true. They're both in the top 5 right now.
Shall we have a quick glance at some recent winners? Of course, these are featured on SC2 Online and updated with every result fairly quickly.
Yeah, so we can just take a look right on the front page here. And I think the variety of names is so cool. I do love that. You don't just have the same person. There's so many events going on. It would be almost impossible to just play them all and win them all, but there is so much variety.
Well, unless you're a guy called Illusory, he played in 300 tournaments a couple of years back. The record.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I guess he can play in all of them.
I wonder if that record is going to be beaten one day.
Who knows? Well, there's more and more tournaments every year, eh?
One of these guys will do it. I bet it'll be Cham. We'll see Cham.
He'll be like 400 tournaments played, like 90 tournaments won. When will he sleep? When will he sleep?
Who needs sleep when you can just play in another OSC tournament?
And yeah, we see our Hearthstone recent results there too.
Yeah.
Good mix of players.
Yeah, I see a lot of Latin America and Southeast Asia here represented.
There you go. Yeah, big variety in where everybody's from. That diversity. Gotta love it.
Yeah. Do you want to have a look at some recent bounty winners? I think there's only maybe top 8 displayed on SC2 Online, but there's a bit more on our running sheet here. But
yeah, it looks like we've got the top 8 here. It looks like Cuddle Bear recently collecting over Bly. Cham
that was
taken out 3 times on this list.
He plays a lot, but he can be beatable, eh? Anyone can be beatable.
It's true. But if you beat them too many times, then you can't get the bounty anymore.
That's right. It can actually disadvantage people to play in non-OSC tournaments.
Yeah, and there's Estrella taking out Creator recently.
I think it might be from Kung Fu Cup.
Oh, sounds very possible. Yeah, he's been looking so good. And Vindicta too. That was somebody who I feel like I haven't mentioned too much, but Vindicta's been on the up and up this last year. As we get into the Terran patch.
Good time.
Yeah.
Shall we give away some more money?
Let's do it. You know, we've only got a couple more left, but we're basically to the end of our topics here. Getting very close to the end.
And there is, of course, a Matcherino $1 coupon if anyone wants to help use it. Jackpot.
Jackpot. There you go. Who's it going to be jackpot for this time? Good luck. Ooh, once again, it's going to be B.
Ooh, congratulations.
Ooh,
wow.
B getting it where it counts here. Saving up
$275.
He's at what, 275?
Yep.
Not bad, not bad.
Not
bad for a $10 buy.
Well, he did have, I think it was 16 tickets at the start.
All right, still the 2 biggest prizes remaining.
That's right. Only goes up from here. Shall we take a look at the Hearthstone rankings a little bit?
Yeah, you probably saw them when we had SC2 Online open, but 14 tournaments so far in Season 2, so started up 3 weeks ago, and 14 unique winners, which is pretty cool, actually.
Wow, yeah.
Because we're talking a little bit about Hearthstone earlier, and I mentioned Fast 44 and Bad Boy won so many tournaments. It was sort of a rivalry between those guys, but much more diverse range of winners to start this season, which is pleasing to see.
Yeah,
And
maybe a few other people coming in to disrupt the rivalry.
Mr. Fast 44 is yet to win one, but Bad Boy has one on the scorecard. And 9 players have played in 11 of those 14 tournaments, so starting to accumulate a nice little total there, which can go towards the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, got to get those got to get the reps in. Play as many tournaments as you can.
And build those points towards the rankings. One of the new partner tournaments, the Kale Fuss Cup, that's got its like a little circuit that incorporates the OSC rankings towards like a mini playoff after 4 weekly cups, which is pretty cool too. So yeah, well, looking to bring in more partners. Toxavia's doing a lot of work with Hearthstone and the community, and yeah, now we've got 4 weeklies. Growing well.
Yeah, doing pretty good, I think.
Seems Overlord hasn't won any tournaments yet this season either.
It's okay. It's very early in the season. He has time.
There you go. There you go. Just makes you want it all the more, right? You got to keep working hard.
He's still spending his championship money, I think. So. He's another player who is in this raffle draw, so perhaps he might go for that second place if we do it.
He's hoping for it. Shall we do a quick little draw here? This is we have 2 more left, so right?
Yep. This one for $200.
Oh, and there it is. Almost as if by fate. Overlord.
Congratulations.
There you go.
Congrats.
Couldn't have set that up better.
Yeah, that's hashtag not rigged.
Lucky he did that on stream, huh?
Right?
So he had 8 tickets in the draw. Take one off.
Seems worth it.
$200. He's one of our elite rewards club members.
Well, we've got one more draw to do, and I believe we've reached the end of our topics.
Shall we go through the full list of entrants again so we make sure everybody's in the running?
Sounds good. Yeah, still going to be B, Bly. Oh, man, these guys have so many tickets. Ryan asking if he's in there. I don't know. I'm not seeing a Ryan.
He's not, unfortunately.
Bly's been
This
hanging
was
around, waiting for
based
his
on
chance.
last year's Season 7 SC2 data, so it's being drawn now because we had to wait for Hearthstone Season 1 to finish up in April, and we had a busy May, as we've covered, so we're doing it now in June.
So next year, Ryan. That'll be
Next
your year.
Year of Ryan.
All right, let's get in. Let's do our last draw here. This is the final one.
Good
This
luck.
is the one that needs the real drum roll.
$350. Click of a button.
Ooh. And the man
Who we
takes
got?
it. He bided his time, and it is Bly
Bly
that gets that number 1 spot. Whew.
on fire.
Lion Fire.
On fire. Congratulations. sorry to all the people that put their ticket in but didn't quite make the final cut. But there was a good variety. Only two people had recurring draws. Mixu
Three
and
people.
B. 3 people?
Yeah, Bly actually won the 25% off.
Oh, that's right. First and last.
So he can spend his $350 at the OSC shop, no worries. And get 25% off. Congratulations.
There you go. Some good raffle draws there.
Bit of fun.
Yeah, fun, and I'm sure making some people happy out there.
So Overlord was second, B third, B fourth, Vivid fifth, Vanya sixth, Gerald seventh, and then Mixu had the tournament to be named after him. And then 6 people have discounts at the OSC shop if they want, which we have a range of clothing. You can get your rewards club membership through there. Some cool little features.
There you go. I know if I had a discount, I'd be eyeing up that merch. Talking to Vivid brand ambassador.
Yes, I like our uniform design. The jackets are really cool. I think maybe I'll have a jersey hanging up there in the background, but yeah.
Looking nice. It is a nice looking jersey, for sure.
Cool.
That is about it. We have a community chat or questions. Is there anything else? Did we miss something?
Twitch chat. I don't think we had any hits on the Discord server today. I'll just have a quick peek. Nope. So if any questions, we can take in the next minute in Twitch. This will, of course, be uploaded to our YouTube channel. We have a new YouTube channel, so we'll get a VOD up there, and those that missed it live, which will be the majority, I assume, probably watching Home Story Cup, can tune in and see what we talked about. A fair bit of Starcraft, bit of Hearthstone, gave away a lot of money. Not a bad day.
Not a bad day.
Not bad at all. I'm sure Bly and B and some of those other winners are feeling the same.
Maturino payouts are generally done every 2 or 4 weeks, assuming there's no delays. Like sometimes it takes a fair bit of work chasing up players who haven't joined the pages. That can slow things down. I'm sure, as Darking can attest, sometimes we gotta chase those guys up so we can pay out everybody at once.
Come on, guys. Who doesn't like getting paid?
Right.
Sometimes there's a couple of coupons left over we'll try and use within the fortnight, but we always get them used.
Yep.
Yeah, as we mentioned, we did 100 tournaments in May, so we have a lot to pay out, so that's why we do them in fortnightly or monthly blocks. We can't just go through every day and spend time doing that. And bounties are paid out through PayPal, so that's a different way to do it. Bly was talking about bounties earlier. Raffle Draw will be paid out through Maturino. Should be done within a month, I expect. Have everybody on the page because they joined, which is good. So there should be no delays there.
And make sure to use those codes.
Yes, there's probably a couple left. I'll do the old exclamation point Maturino in the chat.
There you go.
$1 coupon. Be an esports hero. And the great thing about Maturino as well, they have a lot of free quests you can do, like follow, retweet, etc., which doesn't cost you anything but helps increase the prize pool.
Yeah, just
I've actually
puts a little bit in here and there.
Yeah, we run a few campaigns through there ourselves. Follow Twitch and YouTube, etc. And yeah, it's good to see those hits come through and cash go to the prize pool. Money well spent, win-win.
Agreed. Gotta love the Matcherino keeping us
So we'll
alive here.
be probably seeing you guys next at Cock of the Walk this week and Battle of the Americas. Oh, there's also a Sentimentino Latino, yes?
Yes, this Friday, Sentimento Latino, Saturday, Battle of the Americas.
Big week of Starcraft.
Every week's a big week.
Yes, every week is a big week now.
For sure. We have a tournament starting in 15 minutes if anyone's interested. New partners, top tier practice. They've got a big community and they're running a $50 weekly tournament organized by Maples. And that's had a good start, good numbers in the first 2 weeks. So
Yeah. Good
try
turnout.
for some bounties, get your OSC points. I'll chuck the link in the chat, but SC2 Online, we've said it, that's the place to go. All right. Well, it's been good chatting, guys.
Yeah, it's been a good time. Thanks for having me here. Been a pleasure.
Thank you, everyone.
Good to chat with you, Darking.
Thank you. It was good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
We'll see you next time.